The non-cooperation movement in Ireland took place during the Irish War of Independence. The Irish War of Independence, or also known as the Anglo-Irish War, was a guerrilla war fought from 1919 to 1921 between the Irish Republic Army, the IRA, and the British Security Forces in Ireland. It was an escalation of the Irish Revolutionary period into armed conflict. During the election of 1918, the Irish Republican Party, Sinn Féin, won in a landslide. The Sinn Féin Party has historically been associated with the Provisional Irish Republican Army, the IRA. The Irish government alleged that senior members of Sinn Féin have held posts on the IRA Army Council before. However, the SF leaders have denied these claims. Brendan O'Brien stated in his book, The Long War, the IRA and Sinn Féin, both Sinn Féin and the IRA played different but converging roles in the War of National Liberation. The Irish Republican Army wages an armed campaign. Sinn Féin maintains the propaganda war and is the public and political voice of the movement. On January 21, 1919, Sinn Féin formed a new government called Dáil Éireann. The new government declared independence from Britain, and later that day, 2 members of the British Organised Armed Police Force, the Royal Irish Constabulary, were shot and killed by IRA members acting on their own initiative. As a result, the British government outlawed Dáil Éireann and Sinn Féin, and the war began. Abstention can be defined as standing for election to a deliberative assembly while refusing to take up any seats won or otherwise participate in the assembly's business. Irish nationalists refused to recognize or participate in the decisions of British Parliament in a non-violent protest of British rule. Sinn Féin members of Parliament elected to Westminster refused to take their seats. The Sinn Féin members of Parliament instead declared themselves Teach Tae Dala of the First Dáil, which Irish nationalists consider to be true Parliament of the Irish Republic. The Teach Tae Dala are simply members of the Dáil Éireann, which is the government that the Sinn Féin created. Boycotting taxes has been a popular form of nonviolent resistance towards the government since before 1500 AD. One of the ways the Irish nationalists peacefully protested British rule was to refuse to pay taxes to the British government. By this time, the Irish Republic was a reality in the lives of many people. They were enforcing their own laws and maintaining its own armed forces and collecting their own taxes. As mentioned before, in January of 1919, the Irish formed their own government called the Dáil Éireann and declared independence from Britain. One of their first actions of a new government was to ratify a constitution known as the Dáil Constitution. At the end of the war, when the British and the Irish came to a resolution, a new constitution was ratified and replaced the Dáil Constitution. The Irish non-cooperation movement can be compared to the non-cooperation movement that was started by Gandhi in 1920. Gandhi's non-cooperation movement aimed to resist British rule in India through non-violent means. Gandhi's Satyagraha was a call for a nationwide protest against British rule in India. He wanted all offices and factories to be closed, and public transportation and English manufactured goods, especially clothing, were boycotted. Gandhi's theory of Satyagraha means that the means and the ends are inseparable, meaning that the means used to obtain an end are a part of that end. Therefore, it would be hypocritical to use unjust means to obtain justice or to use violence to obtain peace. So for Gandhi, the only way he saw fit to obtain justice in India was to go about it in a non-violent manner. In the end, his movement turned violent, and so he believed that it was unsuccessful. The two movements were happening at around the same time, and the Irish saw how Gandhi was resisting British rule in India, and they followed the same path to resist British rule in Ireland. The non-cooperation movement in Ireland was embedded in the Irish War of Independence, and the war itself was extremely violent. In his book, The Irish War of Independence, Michael Hopkinson states that if there had been a fully non-violent campaign against the British, the progress might have been slow, but on the other hand, if there were no fighting, there would have been no need for a truce, no consequence of lowering of morale, no need to enter negotiations with Britain on her terms, and, best of all, no civil war. It was physical force, however, both British and Irish, which was to provide the motor for change. In the end, the War of Independence ended in a truce between the British and Ireland. The truce led to Ireland being divided into Ireland, which is most of the island, and then the top part of the island being Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom and still under the British rule today. In the terms of the War of Independence, they were successful, but the nonviolent campaign didn't really contribute to their success. As Hopkinson stated, it was mainly the physical force that led to the change in government.